What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. I'm on the road in this nasty rainy day, and I'm just sitting here thinking, like I always do. And I'm thinking about Nigeria, right? And I was watching a video yesterday where Malema was talking at the I think it was the African Union conference, or I'm not sure what it was, but I know Malema was the guest star, and other African dignitaries from other African nations came to talk. And so one of the PMs for Nigeria got up and asked Malema a question, right? The EFF leader, who's soon to be hopefully the president of South Africa. I can't wait. I can't freaking wait, right? But so the Nigerian minister stands up, and he kind of like casually says, hey, you know, do you think it's possible that we can maybe, you know, forego the revolutionary talk? Let's forego the talk of all this, you know, fighting enemies that don't exist and colonialism that doesn't exist. He basically was saying, hey, you know, colonialism is over, racism is over, nothing going on. You know, can we just look towards making good deals with foreign nations instead of like fighting for our right. His whole position, the Nigerian dude's whole position was, hey, you know, all that shit's done. You know, let's just move forward for business and progress, right? And when I heard him say it, I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, see, that's the problem. Nigeria, for all of its time, all of its potential, right? All the people who are ready to go, all the people in the private sector, all the youth, the entire country, the business sector, everything is being stopped by old Nigerian politicians who have absolutely no revolutionary spirit at all. They have no concept of neocolonialism, right? They have no concept of any of this, how the world works. You could just tell they're just like, hey, let all that shit go. They're almost like Lindsey Graham. All right, y'all know Lindsey Graham? Basically, Nigerian has a bunch of Lindsey Grahams. He's a politician from South Carolina. They're just kind of like spineless octopuses that just will wiggle and be anything that need to be just to get by, right? They always make this character in all movies. There's always the sidekick of the villain who's just trying to get by, right? So they will double cross and make deals and overlook and all that just to put some money in their pocket. And so Malema, you know, he answered the question. Now, I noticed Malema rhetoric has changed a little bit as of late, because he's soon hopefully potentially be the president of South Africa. So he has to become more tamed in his rhetoric, right? And because he's promoting the ultimate unity for all African leaders, he has to approach them in a more diplomatic manner when talking to them, because he's trying to promote unity. You can't come down on people while saying, let's get together. But he did a great job in basically debunking what this Nigerian guy had to say. And I just thought it was a shame that the one missing piece out of Africa is Nigeria having politicians who have a revolutionary mindset towards their people, right? And I'm looking at these politicians in Africa. They're old. They're not even, their minds are not where the rest of the world minds is. Like, even in America, we understand, we can relate. Look who we got. Look at our two choices. We got old ass fucking Donald Trump and even older ass freaking Joe Biden. Everybody with any common sense can see these guys are too old to be running for any office. Neither one of them would be hired to work anybody's business. Nobody, like, we're clearly, this weekend's at Bernie's house right now. We clearly are doing that right now. All because we're trying to patch band-aids on a political system that got out of hand because people like to toss out too much red meat to their unknowledgeable constituents so they can win votes, right? It's all about winning, right? Winning by any means, and this any means kind of put us in a situation in which we're now trying to get out of it, because now we got people in politics who have no business to being in politics, and they're risking uplifting the institution that makes America America, right? And if people think that countries have never failed for this reason, all countries fall for this exact reason. Whether it be a monarchy, whether somebody becomes king or queen and they just don't have leadership skills, and because they're forced to be in charge and because the apparatus around them keeps them in charge because it benefits them, you know, cities crumble, you know, kingdoms crumble and nations crumble. Capitalism can also crumble when you have leaders that have no business being in a position, you know, but because they're the family of somebody, because they're, you know, related to somebody, you know, because they're from this group, this club, this tribe, whatever, they get in positions of power. And, you know, because of that, the institution falls because you don't have talent. You know, you have people just trying to be dictators and authoritarian figures. They have no idea what they're doing, right? In Nigeria, the whole government is full of these 80, 90-year-old archaic fucking spineless politicians. Like, the thing is, there are good young politicians that have a revolutionary mindset, that understands the history of the area, that understands the history of Nigeria, that understands the true potential of the country. Look, Africa will never be liberated until Nigeria is finally independent and liberated and takes its power as a superpower. Congo will never be free until Nigeria is free and independent and takes its role as an independently thinking nation that takes power. Period. No, listen, Nigeria is the key to all of Africa. Everybody knows it, right? Nigeria is the key to all of Africa. And literally, Nigeria is, everything is ready in Nigeria. The only thing that's not ready is the leadership. These old guys have yet to step aside. Like, just like our old guys. Look at Mitch McConnell. These guys are so old, they're literally gonna die in office. Look at all the judges. They die. Like, these politicians, we just had one die and they're replacing them as they die. Like, you wonder why things don't change. It's because we got these leaders that have been in charge for 20, 30, 40 fucking years. Like, with this same old mentality that they got in politics 20, 30, 40, 50 sometimes years ago, right? Like, we look at these dictators, right? Where you got countries where they have one person in charge for 30, 40, 50 years. Same old mentality, right? And then we think that we're doing much better because we keep replacing a puppet president every 4 to 8 years. But we got Congress and senators that are also holding the seats of power, and they all been there collectively 20, 30, 40, 50 years. We have a collective dictatorship in this country. And on top of that, we have corporations who are not being politically held accountable, but they ultimately control everything because they can pay the fucking politicians to do what they want. We don't live in a democracy. We call it a democracy, but it's not, because the politicians have the power to pay off, the corporation have the power to pay off the politicians. And until that change, until politicians don't have the power, until companies don't have power to fill fucking third-party fucking clubs with money for politicians' campaign contributions, which is legal bribery, then we ain't never gonna change. You know, the only difference between America and Africa is that we make our corruption as part of our laws, policy. Their corruption is not part of their policy or law. It's just regular corruption, right? But as a person doing business in Nigeria, and you know, I get to know the political, you know, because that stuff affects me monetarily, and affects my employees that work for me. It affects the people I work for. So I have to deal with Nigerian politics. You know, I have to deal with things like that. I sponsor a lot of kids to go to school, right? So I have to deal with the politics of this school that I'm paying school fees for these children to go to school, and they out of school because the goddamn government don't want to fucking pay the goddamn teachers. They've been off work they've been working for free for a month or 2 months. Now they got to go on strike. So now the kids are freaking, you know, sitting there freaking struggling and out of school, like shit like that, right? So I'm actually dealing with it, and I see it. And it's all these politicians that have no fucking business being politicians. None. And it's literally the only thing holding back. Nigeria is a monster in waiting. Nigeria is a monster. And another thing, like, these African Americans, y'all have no idea. Like, you see African Americans going to Ghana, going to all these Tanzania, going to all these countries, right? You see them eating, some of them, you see them having issues with the local people. Oh, they don't fit, or this and that. You're not going to have any of that problems in Nigeria. And I know it. Right? Nigeria is the home of African Americans. More than any other country. The people look more like you. The people act like you. The culture's more like fits African American. Everything about Nigeria, and the thing is, y'all can't see it. Nobody can see it because Nigeria, because of their politicians and their people they're sitting on a gold mine, and yet they have not taken the opportunity because their mind is still stuck in the fucking 40s and 30s, because that's where they're from, right? All they have to do is turn a camera on in Nigeria and let African Americans see Nigerians, real Nigerians, Nigerians that don't leave the country, Nigerians that's still in Nigeria. Let them see Nollywood. Let them see the business districts, the towns, the metropolitan areas. Let them see Nigerian people interact, so that African Americans, when they see it, they be like, oh shit, those my people over there. It's 100% undeniable that when African Americans go to Nigeria, they recognize that those are their people 100%. More than any country in Africa, even though we're all related, but we're all family. But Nigeria is a special beast. That's where we're from. We are directly from Nigeria, and everybody keep wanting to skip and go to another country and be like, oh, we're all, family. Well, we are all black Africans, but we African Americans are from Nigeria. We are Nigerian. Africa is massive. There's a difference between the East African and the West African and Central and the South. There are differences. We're the most diverse group on the planet. But your diversity, the part that has the least amount of diversity for you African Americans, are Nigerians. And when you go there, you'll see it. It's completely different from every other African country, right? But you won't know it until you go or experience it. And every African American that's in Nigeria are doing this right now. And let me tell you why. And I'll grapple with it at the same time, because we all know right now, as African Americans, is a large population of African Americans in Nigeria, but all of them are silent, because while everybody is advertising all the other places and everybody's going there and campaigning, the people that's in Nigeria, they understand what they're sitting on, and they want to make sure that while things are kind of chaotic, right, while things are not as sure-footed, right, and I'm doing exactly the same thing, African Americans in Nigeria are grabbing up as much resources. They're starting their businesses now. They are making connections right now, because right now is the best time to do it, because when things are not all the way stable, when things are not always secure, when things are not all, when the foundation is not 100% set, when the big bull run don't start, that's when operating is the cheapest. That's when navigating and moving around is the best, because what's going to happen is, I 100% guarantee you this is going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I 100%, I'm sure it's going to happen. Once Nigeria starting getting some fresh Nigerian leadership up in there, them young boys, them young women that's just clamoring. I've been watching them. They're trying to get up in there. It's just them old fuckers, right? Doing their shit that they do to keep them out of power. But once them young, fresh Nigerians get in there, and with their fresh, young ideas, and they start pandering for international investment, and when they start reaching up to the diaspora in America, their cousins, their African American, their brothers and sisters, the African Americans will come and do some direct investment. When that shit happens, and the tourist industry starts widening up, when the media start cranking up and they start doing shit like Ghana, when everybody see what Nigeria has to offer, Nigeria will be the #1 destination for African Americans, for business and social living, everything. And once African Americans start flooding into Nigeria, then I'm going to have a lot more competition. So for now, it ain't happened yet. So I'm doing everything I can. I'm building every piece of infrastructure I can. I'm buying as much land as I possibly can. I'm doing everything I can, so that way when the big rush comes in, the big huge African American gold rush, when it becomes popular for African Americans to embrace their Nigerian heritage, when all of a sudden it's cool to be Nigerian and African American mix, when that shit when it finally happens, I'm gonna be right there ready to collect my funds. I'm gonna be right there ready to capitalize on all the influx of people that's gonna be coming in I'm gonna be there prepared to greet the new African Americans coming in. I'm gonna be prepared. I'm gonna be prepared for everything, y'all. Everything. I'm gonna be the one making the money, for sure. Trust and believe me. I will be making my money off all the inspiring, well, not all, but a lot of the inspiring African Americans that want to come and do business, that want to come and vacation, that want to come and have a safe place to stay. Cause I'm getting ready for all that shit. Trust me. When the African Americans finally flood into Nigeria, I will be there to greet you at the airport. You be coming to my resort. You'll be using one of my ambassadors to help you go around the country. You'll be doing something like that, and I'll be a part of it, and I'm gonna make a ton of goddamn money, because I was one of the first to hit the ground doing it before it got popular. And that's the thing about it. By the time you hear about any business, any organization, and it's popping off and it's super successful, most people think, damn, man, them people made success overnight. And they start talking, 6 months ago, blah, blah, I was here, I was there. But they don't realize that a lot of these businesses that seem like they're overnight successes, they've been in the works for 10, 20 years. The process has been a 10 to 15 to 20 year journey, and they're just now getting paid. They're just now reaping rewards from all their hard work. And that's what I'm doing. So by the time y'all African Americans make it tonight, by the time the entire world starts to try to go to Nigeria, I'm going to be there waiting for everybody. Like, give me your money. Thank you. But anyway, that's all I got to say for now, guys. Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.